This episode is brought to you by Cruising Bears, a global travel community built on giving bears, chubs, and chasers the ultimate vacation escape. Visit bigfatgaycruise.com for details.
Hello, and welcome back to the Big Fat Gay Podcast, where we talk about the things that are weighing on our minds. I'm Trevor Keyson, I'm a super chub, and I'm a in the room boy. I'm in the room where it happens. The podcasting happens. We're all together. I got Dan on my right, I got Michael on my left, and Don in my eye line, and it all is right with the world.
Once again. Hi, I'm Michael Willer. I'm a chubby chaser, and I'm also in this room, and it's a good thing. Nobody at home knows this, but we always sit in the exact same arrangement, and we have done ever since the very first episode. So when we're back in person, there's something very satisfying and sort of ritualistic about
homey.
Don's over there, Trevor's over there, Dan's over there. I don't know. It just feels right.
Yeah, everything just clicks back into place.
It's a lot better.
Hey, my name's Don. I'm a big chubby guy living here in sunny Hollywood, and today I'm coming off the high of my Odyssey journey yesterday. Odyssey. And there's nothing fat about this movie. There's there's maybe 2 ounces of fat distributed throughout the cast, but it's a good movie and it's worth it. And today I hope to be your Calypso, gently ushering you back into your proper existence with all the information you need to make your day a little more bearable.
So very different from the Pirates of the Caribbean Calypso character. It's destroying everything.
There's no Deo. Hello, I'm Dan Oliverio, author, public speaker, and chubby chaser. And today I am just taking stock of our really buff crepe myrtle tree.
Yeah.
Oh.
It is so buff. It is busting out of its bark. There are bark shards everywhere on the lawn.
Shards.
That sounds like a brand name.
I feel like your crepe myrtle tree is juicing.
I don't know. I haven't juiced it in a while, but it's and it's foregone flowering this season, I think, in lieu of hulking out.
Yeah, it does that some years.
It does that some years. Yeah.
And Dan does sometimes give it moon juice, which helps it grow.
Moon juice.
That's a proprietary name.
Anyway, as always, we want to thank our you listener. We want to thank our patrons, our partners, including Cruising Bears. They're gearing up for hibernation, a 10-night Eastern Caribbean cruise, and Bimini Beach Club trip. I always love Bimini Beach Club. I don't know why.
I want to say Bimini Boppity Beach.
Is it Bimini or Bimini? I don't know. Bimini.
Yes.
That's
Bimini
better.
Boppity Boo. You can find out more details about hibernation and the Bimini Beach Club at bigfatgaycruise.com, baby. I shouldn't do that because that is part of the outro, and my brain is like,
you've already done it.
Other ways you can support us: get yourself some bearskin underwear and use promo code BigFatGayPod and save 15%. You can also use our Big Fig link. Get yourself a mattress, and we get a little slice of that pie, that mattress pie. And join our Discord. We actually had a nice response to our last episode in the episode discussion channel. Someone sharing a tip. This is a PSA from Australia, and it's called Slip, Slap, Slop. Basically, when you go out in the sun, you need to slip on a shirt, slap on a hat, and slop on some sunscreen. That's the only kind of slop I want to see in this era.
I mean, valid, 100% valid.
No, it's always fun to hear little things like that. People are seeking hat tips in our Treat Yourself channel. I mean, by the time this comes out, maybe they'll have an answer. Maybe they won't. Maybe you, our big hat-wearing listener, will save the day by joining Discord and sharing your hat tips.
Day I come to save the day.
But let's dive right on into it.
I love in-person episodes.
The penguins are back in the room.
Oh, God, there's more of them. Well, we have some more airline news for which, for the first time in a long time is not terrible. I sort of debatable what side of the spectrum it lands on, but it's at least not objectively terrible, I don't think.
It's also a weirdly written headline. I think I had to reread it like twice before I understood what it was saying.
What does it say, Don?
Yeah, so in AP News, the headline Don's referring to on the business section is, "An empty middle seat is the latest perk United Airlines will offer on some flights." So what about that?
I misinterpreted that as like, we have an empty middle seat for you. Come sit in it.
That makes your text make much more sense. Okay.
I was very confused by it.
So what actually is happening here is that United Airlines has taken a cue from some European airlines.
Every other fucking airline, people.
Where they're offering essentially a sort of economy plus / business class style upgrade, where in one row of some of their select
they don't want to be.
flights,
They're really careful because maybe it won't work. So it's just one row.
So for this sort of like rolling it out trial period, one row will feature a middle seat that is kept clear of passengers.
If you buy it, right?
Well, you have to buy either the aisle or the window seat. And then the middle seat has like a table in it, a little extra space.
Oh,
and
okay.
So it's an upcharge, but you then don't have to worry about somebody taking up that middle seat and having, all of that encroachment on your space.
But you still don't get any more room, fuckers.
No, you don't get any more room.
God damn it, more counter space? That drives me crazy.
It's like being in a car and having an extra wide center console. It's like, nobody.
Let me ask this. Like, if they replace that row of 3 seats, right, and leaving the middle one empty now, with 2 bariatric seats and a smaller side table, right? Do you think those would larger people be able to get access to those seats, or they just get snapped up by?
No,
they would get snapped up. They would get snapped.
There'd just be the tiniest little, like, oh, I'm just like a little baby in the chair, just this, the most horrible woman in that chair.
I would love it though if they just made a rule where like you buy the seat if someone comes along that clearly needs it more than you do.
Yeah, but the problem with all ADA accommodation, as we've seen with support animals, you are not allowed to verify whether they're real. And in the same way, I don't think you'd be able to, like, they're not going to stand for, you got to prove you're fat, Don. How fat are you?
Yeah.
But I think it's
upload a picture of yourself.
I think you can tell when someone's not fat.
Yeah.
Like, excuse me, miss. You're not fat enough.
Well, if you're going to bounce me off the plane because you think I'm too fat for your skinny seat, then now you have a bariatric seat that you could upgrade me to, and you can move that 20-pound child that they bought the seat for into a children's seat.
And they're clearly fine bumping people off flights for being too fat.
You know, bump them off for being too skinny.
Yeah, exactly.
Bump them off for being too skinny to be in the bariatric chair. Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I think a little public shaming for taking equipment that is clearly meant for someone else. I think that would be healthy.
Right. And you know what? You'll be allowed back on the plane if we find no one else fits this seat, or there's a weight raffle and the nearest person who fits this. Oh my God, this is awful. This is awful.
I mean, my big takeaway from this article, because I don't think I would be able to do the economy plus. Like, I don't think that would work for Dan and I.
Of course not.
No.
But the United Relax row, where they convert it. It's like, what was the...
Oh, yeah. You mean...
3 seats become a couch.
3 seats become a couch, which is what Air New Zealand did 5-10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. What was previously the race to the bottom to be a race to the middle is working out great for me.
It's something to throw it back to the OG podcast days. Like, it's something.
It's we're getting some options and getting a lot less options for everything else. No, I think it's. I'm curious about the relax row,
but I don't think people are scrambling. And this happens in cars and it happens in first class and business class seating. I don't think anybody is clamoring for more counter space. I don't think anybody is trying to make their sourdough in the air and needs room to need it. It is so dumb. Why don't you just open up the seat? Do nothing.
Yeah.
And if people want to buy an extra seat, you let them buy an extra seat for like half price.
Yeah. And I think, you guys tell me what you think about this, but I feel like if you wanted to have that like middle seat as extra counter space option, just have the tray come down where if a fat person were sitting in one of the adjacent seats, they could still be there without that sort of quote unquote counter space taking up their sitting space.
Because how it occurs for me right now is, we want to provide people extra room, but not you fat slobs.
Right.
Like you can use it for extra room, but unless you're fat, then absolutely, we still want you off the plane.
Yeah.
I wonder if it is easier for them to innovate surfaces because for any kind of seating change, they need to, like, it's regulated by the FAA.
FAA.
That wouldn't shock me.
I feel like we have...
Still, it exists. Just make it viable. You can buy it.
If you're a plane nerd, which I feel like with our audience, we have to have at least one plane
I
nerd.
know for a fact.
Let us, because I feel like this has to be an FFA, not
FFA.
Not FFA. I mean, although I think it's that kind of issue too. An FAA thing. So let us know, aeronautical engineer nerds.
Shall we?
We shall.
Let's us do.
Fat Watch 2026.
That eagle just went straight to my brain.
I love when there's something like this where I'm like, I can't digest this, but it's perfect for Professor Dan.
And it is such a ridiculous. Okay, there's so much to unpack here. Did anybody actually read this? Because it's a
I
mess.
did.
It's a
I
mess.
skimmed it. And
I
I was like,
tried.
It's a mess.
This
It's
is for
such a
Dan.
I don't know how much I retained from it, but
Okay, here we go. So this in from Med City News. We'll talk about that later.
okay.
And the headline is obesity is tied to hundreds of gene variants. Why are we only talking about 2? And you're thinking, I wasn't talking about 1. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning wide funnel mouth of this. So with the thing with GLP-1 drugs, one of the things they've noticed is that, as everybody knows, it works really well for some people. It works kind of not terrible on some people. And for some people, it's just a fiasco.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's tried to adjust through medicine. Well, the reason it works in these varying degrees is because people have different GLP-1 receptor genes. And what this article is talking about is that there is a GLP-1 receptor gene, but there's also other genes and then lots of variations on these genes.
Right.
So the article is talking about how if you're just looking at 1 or even 2 genes, you're not seeing the whole picture in how to analyze the efficacy of GLP-1 drugs.
And
This is phase 1.
okay.
Phase 2. The person who wrote this actually works for an AI-centered genetic testing laboratory. So he is trying to get people to do more genetic testing so they can see if they, which honestly, it would just be verification that, oh, you're right, it does make you nauseous, and here's the gene responsible.
Okay.
Like, it wouldn't really solve anything except you'd get to know more information and you'd pay them a lot of money. And 3, as I mentioned, the story comes out of Med City News, which freely accepts content from advertisers who are trying to put across a point of view.
Oh, okay.
So this is quite the pipeline for them.
It's a big mess. But what is important, I think what would be important for our listeners to know is that there are genetic reasons why the drug doesn't work, and it doesn't work most of the time. GLP-1 drugs do not have the efficacy that people are seeking 60% of the time. And the variation is anywhere from a 20-pound drop to a 1-pound drop. And for a lot of people, 1 pound is really like they're not too concerned about 1 pound. Also, some genetic testing. This is from another article from MedLabs. It's like a legit source. Talks about how the people who have the biggest side effects correlate with the people who have the least results. So, in other words, if your body can't take it, it also means that your body probably can't use it anyway.
Right. And I thought one helpful kind of like distinction, I guess, for that people could use, like actually use is with that kind of pointing to which of these sort of name brand medications fall on which side of the spectrum.
Meaning like Mounjaro or Wegovy or like which one you choose.
Yeah. So it's specifically Zepbound and Mounjaro they list as a second gene GLP that
2 gene
predicts
working,
nausea for patients taking Zepbound and Mounjaro. Tirzepatide, which is that's what those 2 are, and then only some GLP-1s target both of the GLP-1 and GLP receptors, which would be like Wegovy and Ozempic. Basically, the point is they're not all created equal.
Nope.
So if you're having weird or bad results with one
or no results,
yeah, it's possible you could find an alternative that would give you better results. But then beyond that, yeah,
and if you sell your genetic information to this company, which they can develop even more drugs to target these other genes. Part of why I wanted to include this was Dan and I have been rewatching the X-Men movies. And there's the X gene. And I'm just very in this. I'm not a Charles Xavier. I'm a Magneto, I think. And I will be levitating and bringing the football stadium to put around the pharmaceutical companies as I release my robots that shoot them with semaglutides.
Silence. Anyway, so that's just stuff to know about. But what do we got for main subject, City?
Well, today's topic is going to be, we were inspired by an experience I had in real life. So I've recently brought a new friend into my life. He's a straight guy.
Oh, I've heard of those.
I know. But we're still in that phase where we're getting to know each other, right? The friendship is still sort of forming and, the communication isn't there yet, right? So he kept pushing me to go work out with him, right? He wants me to go to the gym with him, do some lifting weights. And I interpret it as hey, I could help you lose weight.
That's how you interpreted it.
I interpreted it that way because, in part of getting to know me has been talking about getting to know a fat person, right? And some of my limitations and things that I focus on.
And so naturally when he said, hey, do you want to go work out with me? You interpreted it that way.
Yes. And I took a little bit of offense when he kept coming back at me with it, right? Suggest it once. That's lovely. Okay, I get it. You're offering me something you think has value to me. Offering it 2 times, okay, you didn't understand me the first time. Offering it 3 times, okay, I think maybe we've got an issue here. And it wasn't until I kind of broached the topic with him about it where he really just brought it home real quick. Oh no, he's kind of lonely. He wants to bond with me. That's what he does, right? This is his activity.
It was an activity. It was a mediating activity that Straight Boys needs.
He was trying to share something that he enjoys with me, not realizing that there's an additional contact.
It wasn't about you.
It wasn't about me. But it brought me back into this sort of toxic masculinity thing of you gotta be more cut. You gotta be more swole. That whole come back to the gym. I'll bring you back to, something that I think you should be.
Well, but it wasn't. It wasn't. I want to hang out with you. And the best way to do that is at doing something we both enjoy.
Right.
And you should enjoy this like I do.
Yeah. Which is kind of adorable, honestly.
It is.
I appreciate it. I would never have gotten because I don't have any history with gym culture. And so I would also never have seen it that way. I would have assumed the same thing that you did. Or at the very least, this is something that he enjoys and thinks that all men should do. It would have been some version of that.
Yeah.
And I don't think I really quite understood people's or I guess men's relationship to the gym as a
buddy, as a buddy thing.
Yeah, a place to hang out or
it very much is.
It is together. A place where he can share in a way that he doesn't share in real life.
Well, and let me pitch this in. I've had a lot of guys say, "Oh, I'd love to go work out with you," and they're almost always either straight or if they're gay, they're another chaser. So it's deliberately non-sexual. If they're into me, the last thing they want to do is work out with me.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. To me, that just speaks to how straight it is. It's not sexual.
Right.
I wouldn't want to work out with anyone.
No, I don't either.
I wouldn't either. Yeah.
I'm going to be wheezing a lot when I'm working out. That doesn't promote conversation for me.
But I will say there are benefits to having a workout partner of whatever stripe. The best way to get to the gym, especially if you're I hit and I miss sometimes, the best way to get to the gym is to make an appointment to go with someone.
Yeah.
That will get you there. That's 90% of why people hire a personal trainer. So they have an appointment.
That's why I do it.
Yeah. Number 2, also having 2 people working out allows you to share equipment. It's more efficient. It lets you rest while they grunt. You grunt while they rest. It works you're not the only one breathing hard, I promise.
It makes perfect sense.
So I'm just, I don't want to discourage that. Personally, I find it a bit in the way because it turns into social time, which is not what the gym is for me. And that is exactly what he's inviting you to, social time.
Yeah. And that's the funny part is if he'd repackaged it that way, I would have shown up after the first invite. You know?
Exactly. Well, but now you can.
Yeah, now it's an option.
Yeah.
So are there instances of like what you were sort of reacting to, which turned out not to be the case, but are there instances of like toxic masculinity behaviors that are actually that we come across that are like, how do you handle that basically? Like, is there, what do those occur as, and then what do you do about it?
I can say like my own toxic masculinity is what drove me into the gym in the first place many years ago.
Interesting.
Right? Like I went because I felt like my body didn't match a mold of masculinity that was going to get me what I wanted in this world.
You can't be a man and a marshmallow.
Yeah, exactly. And so I showed up. I did what I was told to do.
By a trainer, by a book, by
a trainer and a book.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And I did it with misery. I did it reluctantly.
Oh, what a surprise.
And obligatory. And it did not benefit me in any way.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't until years later when I actually did form a connection with somebody at a gym that helped me.
There you go.
Kind of navigate the things and recontextualize things in a way where this could be a little bit more fun. It doesn't have to be slavish devotion and work in misery. Right. But you have to find your way into it.
You got to find the way to fun.
Yeah, you have to find your way to fun. And the conventional go to the gym on your own and lift weights by yourself was not my way into it, you know?
I'm curious, have you instigated any other hangouts with him that are not like gym bro
based?
or like have you hung out with, like, have you been like, oh, let's go to the museum, or like
he turns out to be a real movie buff the same way I am.
Oh, perfect.
Very similar tastes.
Nice.
But just enough of a different perspective where we can actually talk about things and explore rather than just sit together and agree, you know?
You should invite him to go get mani-pedis. And there is a place.
That supposes that Don wants a mani-pedi.
I mean, I imagine Don would like a mani-pedi.
I kind of need one.
And there is a place. There's Hammer and Nails.
Oh, yeah.
Which I don't. They've moved. Which is like, I think it'd be a good way for him to dip his toe, because like it's a manicure place for straight guys.
It's like if a manicure place were
one near me.
It's like if a manicure place were a biker bar.
That sounds good. That sounds good. Okay.
So I have kind of I'm curious if you guys have a take on the like where toxic masculinity fits into this sort of arc that I've been experiencing. So like a few years ago, almost never went to the gym. Gym was not my thing. I would play soccer, and then eventually my body was not really able to handle that on its own. I needed like support, and so I ended up finding a trainer, and was, fatter than I normally am, and was working with this trainer. And so I wasn't able to play soccer at the time. So I was kind of just like building like muscle mass and resilience. And I was doing it because I wanted to be able to start playing soccer again. Yeah. That was my goal.
In order to. Yeah.
And then but there's this side benefit of like, oh, I'm starting to look more and more like kind of the, David Harbour kind of dad bod, like muscle and fat together kind of thing that guys online were really responding to. And so I started getting that like positive reinforcement of, oh, people really have a taste for that look.
Oh yeah.
And so I was taking that.
I've ridden that wave for 40 years.
Yeah. So I was taking that into soccer, like kind of having this experience of, oh, I'm, not as agile as I used to be. I don't have quite the same ability to perform the way I used to. But now where I may not have the same speed, I can use muscle and weight to like muscle people off the ball and shield the ball. And I can do things that I didn't used to be able to. And I love seeing that result. But then I'm also having this like, again, lots of positive reinforcement around the change in physique that has not been my experience before as the like, in my 20s, having a more boyish look, any amount of fat was like, it was like the total wrong direction.
Right, you're breaking the mold.
Yeah, and so on the one hand, it's been a very positive, kind of like affirming. Like I don't feel bad about any of that really, but it has started to kind of feed a like in the last couple months I have like all of my kind of like health issues have really leveled out. I've been playing soccer more consistently and I have gotten thinner.
Yeah.
And so now I'm in my head of like, I'm not really trying to push my physique any particular direction as long as I can play soccer. But it's just sort of happening. And I'm now in this space of like, is that gonna, like I think I talked about this like a month or two ago of like somebody was like, I liked you better when you were fatter. And so I'm sort of in the space of like, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, but also am I going to start like losing, I don't know. Like I just have questions. Like what is that?
I deal with this question all the time from gainers, from chubs, chasers. It is, and I think it's just universal among gay men. Look, there is always going to be someone who thinks you would look better if you did X. And there's always going to be someone who says, oh my God, you're perfect, never change. There's always. And I've told, like, the standard line I would give chubs is like, look, you're going to get guys who are into you at 150 pounds, at 250 pounds, and at 450 pounds, just different guys. So the first thing you got to do is you got to make you happy. If you're happy, if you're good with you, then not only will that please the right guys, because the right guys are going to respond. Why are they the right guys? Because they like what you like when you look in the mirror. But also, if you feel good in your skin, it's going to attract people that are potential for relationship if you're looking for a relationship. And so, you know, if you're trying to be something you're not, that's only going to attract people who value what you're not. That is not a great recipe for partnership.
Yeah.
I just want to take a sec to underline what Dan just said and circle it. This is 100% true. But I also, just because it came up in the context of specifically chubby guys, I want to throw that out there and say, chaser dudes, this is absolutely true of you too.
Absolutely.
You know, this is 100% body free. Like, if you are a person, finding confidence in yourself is going to be the sexiest fucking thing you can do.
It's true. It's true. Whether it happens, whatever weight it happens. And yes, you're always going to find people who think you're too fat or too thin. Always. So give it up.
I think so outside of body size, with kind of perceived masculinity, there's a big thing in Chub Chaser land, Gainer Encourager land, Bear land of facial hair.
Oh my God.
And there is a famous bear who is like one of the archetypes of like the modern bear era, if we will, who he like, his pictures have been around the internet forever. He is like, I think probably the entry point for some guys realizing what they like. And he has, you know, the kind of typical bear goatee. And he confided in me that he did not want facial hair, but he felt like he had to because he was not very hairy. Like he had some, like, you know, like he had very light body hair.
Oh yeah.
And and he found himself in this echelon in the bear community.
Yep.
100%. That was why I grew facial hair the first time.
And I have heard it over and over again from many chubs. I can't get laid if I don't have a beard.
And that he did not really like it, but he just had to keep it.
Yep.
Interesting.
And it's all that thing because, as I've said many times, no one knows male gaze like the male gaze.
Yeah.
And if, you know, because gay men we are consumed with masculinity, not necessarily toxic. We're just consumed with thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because it is so baked into our history as human beings and our history as a culture. So this idea of like, what is masculine? I think, straight men encounter this, but for gay men, it is such a big deal.
I think I just realized, this is just a complete thought. I think I just realized what has been kind of not bothering me, but just kind of like sitting in the background about all this. It's that experience that Don has described before of like when you do lose a substantial amount of weight and you start getting positive reinforcement.
Yep.
I'm starting over the last like 5-6 years, I've started, I don't know, not accidentally, but sort of passively modeling what a lot of people see as like prototypical masculine and getting a lot of positive reinforcement
Absolutely.
for it. And it's on the one hand, it's like, I like that, but also it's sort of like, but I don't know if it's mixed. It doesn't feel like you...
It can make taking those compliments very difficult because it literally does play with your head.
Yeah.
So when I was at 500 pounds, right, I had the world telling me like, you need to find value in yourself. You need to find your self-esteem. You need to find your confidence. And I did. And then I lost weight and people told me I was better.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That messes with you.
Absolutely.
You know? Mm-hmm. It messes with you.
And that's the key, that you got to get that they're not talking about you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, they're facing you and speaking, but they're talking about themselves. And as long as I remember, this was it took me a long time to figure this out. I would get these comments from guys, and they would be like, "Oh yeah, you're so manly. You're such a man's man." And I'm like, "You mean I have a dick?"
Yeah.
And they're like, no, see, you don't even know. That's what makes you so manly. You don't even know you're masculine. You don't even know what a man's man you are. Like, okay.
I would be curious if younger gay men have the same sort of landmines of toxic masculinity built into them that us older guys do.
Oh, yes.
Well, because let me put it this way.
Except I think they're in a hall of mirrors about it because there's so many other sexualities.
Yeah.
I think there's 60 times the mirrors.
Maybe. But the reason why I'm putting it in these terms is because, like, when I was trying to grip with what, why I was gay, what does that mean? Mm-hmm. And had to come up with the answers out of whole cloth I made myself because there was no blueprint at that point.
Right.
It made me confront my own thinking about masculinity and really look at it, right, in a way that had to be, again, completely self-generated, because while images of masculinity were around me everywhere, how to think about them or how to feel about them.
Absolutely right.
There was no discussion of it
None.
at that point. You just had to kind of surf it and hope that you landed in a good place.
Well, worse than that, I think the images that were out there were the pufta, the fagula, the like, oh, Mary. That's what you get. That was the alternative to being a man.
That was the G-rated version. And then when you started kind of wondering like what gayness was, then it went straight to X with like, overly muscled chests and
or
big
Tom
burly
of Finland.
Tom of Finland.
Yeah,
that was my first image of gay life. Was Tom of Finland.
Yes.
For those of you who are too young to know what that is, go online, do a search for it. It is, you'd be amazed how much of gay modern fantasies are still built on Tom of Finland's images from 50 years ago.
Well, and I mean, Tom of Finland didn't invent that. It was pre-existing 50 years before he drew it.
Right. But that's where it was solidified for us.
And it's this idea of the buff leather man, the buff leather man picking up other buff leather men.
But having to think about all that in that sort of vacuum, I feel like might have sort of, I don't know, it's a crucible, I guess, of, I don't know how to say this. I feel like younger guys I'm meeting, they have other blueprints. They have multiple ways of finding their ways to masculinity that we were kind of stumbling around in the dark feeling for.
You're right. But then I think younger gays have the opposite problem, which is that there are 60,000 identities and they got to make one that hasn't been invented yet.
Or it's just they have an infinite mirror to compare themselves to, where it is just a stream. And maybe they see a trend of this is how gay men are, and I don't fit that. And maybe they see more examples of it, or just they see so many options, and it's overwhelming.
Can I ask? It sounds like you're saying that you're actually experiencing the opposite issue I did, where I had no blueprint. You have 1,000 blueprints being shot at you through a fire hose.
I mean, I feel like it's kind of in between because as a millennial, I came of age and I had the internet, but it's so different than now.
Yeah.
But now it's definitely through a fire hose, I would think. Yeah.
For actual kids and young people now.
Yeah. 15 to 25, absolutely.
Do you feel like that drowns out your own thought? Like your ability to kind of find your own space? There's so much being directed at you?
Not for me, but I think for kids for sure, yeah.
Okay.
What it feels like for me, I don't know if this is your experience, but it feels like for me that we were coming up when it was still very much like model the prototypical identity that's out there. That's like the one thing that you're supposed to look. But then as we were starting to get old enough to do that, it started changing.
Yes.
So the goalpost moved while we were starting to figure out who
I
we
could
were.
see that.
And I can tell you what moved.
What moved?
So, as an example, Don, do you ever remember the bear code? remember the Bear Code? The Bear Code was, and this was in the days when you had advertisements in print magazines for dating. They're personalized in print sources.
Yes.
And for Bear magazines, and it started in the Bear community, obviously, and went other places too. It was this laundry list of so many letters, numbers, and pluses and minuses that said, like, you were plus facial hair, you were plus beard, but minus this, you were plus this, but minus that. And it was all these physical characteristics and occasionally sexual tastes. And it was lengthy and impenetrable. It made the hanky code look obvious.
Yeah.
It was really arcane. You still have that today, but here's the difference. In those days with the Bear Code, it was really just physical characteristics and tastes that were being rated. It was the difference between, I like ice cream, I like chocolate syrup, I don't like anchovies, I'm 6'2", I'm 170 pounds, and I have facial hair, and I enjoy museums, but not modern art. Like, it was just all right? The difference is that those became now identities. And so now I don't just have those characteristics, I am that identity. And the difference now, which is so restrictive, is that these things that used to be attributes are now considered identities. I am this person. And I think young people are forced into trying to invent an identity that no one's ever heard of before so they can stand out. Because you wouldn't want to be like everybody else. You wouldn't want to be like you can't be gay because that doesn't, I'm not gay, I'm this. Like, you have to stand apart. And it's identity based, not characteristic based.
That's interesting, because I was debating if I was going to push back, but I can't, because I identify as a geek in my profile, and that is definitely an identity.
Yeah.
I'm trying to express my interests.
But I don't think you would say that your identity is a bear. And I don't think you would say your identity is a man with a graying goatee.
No.
You would never say that, right? But there is a whole online cadre where these things are not merely characteristics.
Yeah,
they're defining as identities. And I think that's extremely dangerous.
That's a good point. It's very interesting, because I do remember, up until a certain point, it was like I would say, I like sci-fi, I like comic books, I like video games.
As opposed to...
And then those things got clipped out of my profile, and now it's I am a geek.
I am a geek, rather than I like this, that, and the other thing.
I am a gamer with a Y, It's interesting. I didn't think about it in those terms.
I find it very restrictive, and it puts people in boxes that they love to author of themselves, to be able to identify themselves, to be able to, because as Trevor says, you've got this hall of mirrors. How do you exist in that without claiming your own space?
As an interesting side note, I also have approached a gamer online, for example, and started a conversation about games, only to realize, we're not the same type of gamer at all.
Yeah.
We have nothing in common.
That happens a lot too.
Well, doesn't gamer with a Y just mean gay and gamer?
Yes, but there are different types of gamers.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And therefore, there isn't that much commonality other than...
Not as much.
You like dick and you like joysticks, which is...
Kind of is the same thing.
This week, I, in a couple of different conversations, have had guys call me Bubba.
I'm sure you love that.
Which is just so not me. And I get that, I am this kind of at this intersection of bearishness, but also not. And it's kind of like the rabbit duck optical illusion, where it's if someone wants to see me as a rabbit, they can see me as a rabbit. If someone wants to see me as a duck, they can.
Are you a hairy chub or a hairless bear?
Yeah. And the first one, I almost said something, but then I saw on his profile, on his wall, he had posted something about hey ladies, and someone came at him well, stop feminizing chubs, and how dare you, and blah blah blah. And so I'm okay, he just got bonked for doing the opposite. So I don't want to don't I'm not.
And don't use this term either. Yeah.
Don't masculinize me.
Yeah.
And then it happened a second time, and then it happened a third time.
Oh my God.
I was
no.
That's a lot.
With different people. And I'm just what is, I just so don't feel like Bubba. And I am not really into the bear thing. And my handle on the sites has Cub in it. But that's just kind of because I was I needed to come up with a screen name, and I changed it a bunch of times.
I do tend to run on the assumption if someone uses Cub in their name that they are going to lean mask, I think. I don't know if that's fair.
Sometimes it's just appearance. Cub can just be short and kind of hairy.
Yeah.
And
And
that's fair.
And at this point, I would change it, but it's I can't change it.
It's a brand name now, yeah.
And in all these cases, I have not really known how to be like, please don't call me that. But like I've had such a visceral reaction to it.
Yeah.
I've had a very similar experience, and when I complained about it to people, I was shut down. The one that I used to get a lot of the time was Chief.
Oh,
right?
That's weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
I got Chief all the time.
I don't like it.
That's red flag.
Yeah, and so it's one of those things where like, okay, so you don't call white people chief very often.
all the time.
Ever.
No, they do. They really do.
I've
They really
never.
do.
Not in my presence.
No, in
I've
the Midwest,
never-
that's all the time.
I mean,
It's
I
chief,
will
boss.
say that is like
Yeah.
a Midwest thing, but like I don't think it's that.
In this
It feels
context,
very
I don't
pointed.
think so.
Yeah, and for our listeners, I'm half Polynesian, so like there's a racial component here that's.
I don't think they meant it that way.
I
think they
think
called
they did.
everybody chief.
I don't
think
think
they
they
could
didn't
have
mean
easily.
it that way. I think it might just be like almost like a subconscious thing.
Having talked to my Native American friend about issues like this.
No, but I'm just saying. But in the Midwest, there are men of a certain age. They call everybody chief. They call them boss.
But this is the exact conversation I ran into before, where
Yeah.
like I told it to a room, and I'll admit it was a room full of white people.
Yeah.
And I got shut down so hard.
Yeah.
Like, no, we just call everyone that way. I'm like,
Yep.
Okay, well, it takes on a different context when you do it to someone that could be a chief.
And I'm not defending it. I'm simply arguing intent.
I
I mean,
understand.
as the Midwesterner, I say yes, but this just feels that yes, but also other yes.
But what I wanted to say is, if you're being called Bubba or Chief or whatever, it is never about you. I was called Bubba. Can you think of anybody less Bubba than me?
But I think for me,
I think I outrank him in non-Bubba-ness.
I don't know.
But I think it is about me because it's what they want me to be to them.
That's about them.
But it is also like I am perceived as someone who can be that for them, and like
Look, they're not thinking about you. They're doing the thing they always do, and they're just rolling it over you like a paint roller.
I think in the case of Bubba, it's not.
I'm not saying it excuses it. I'm not saying it excuses it. I'm saying that it's so not about you. They're not like, oh my God, am I coming across as a Bubba? No, you showed up in their universe and people are Bubba. And by the way, like I said, I've been called Bubba, and my solution was, please don't call me Bubba. And they were public. They got a snoot full. They're like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm like, I do not appreciate the word. You don't have to explain it. You don't have to define it. You're like, please use another word.
Try again.
Or if they say,
I'm very much like that with Twink.
and
I cannot stand that.
And I have gotten one of what people do, and again, I think it's because I come across as dominant, and so people have more deference to me than they do, let's say, to someone who's fat. I frequently, I would say 40% of the interactions I have online, people at some point will say, "What should I call you?" Meaning, sir. Dude, big guy, like what should I call? Like they're asking
that many
40%. Eventually.
That's a lot.
If we get just because they again increase deference because of my body, right? Because I've come across as masculine and dominant, so they're going to have increased deference to me. Whereas they'll just slap any label on you or someone's fat because well you're fat.
So, is there any? Because I see this in profiles pretty frequently. The like, please don't call me the XYZ category of whatever.
Gainers do that a lot, and I think it's very helpful.
Yeah, I find that helpful too.
I guess I do, but I also just like I generally feel like it's kind of off-putting to be like, well, don't do this because I feel like
Well, then tell them what to do.
Yeah, I think it occurs to me in a positive manner when it's written out like I'm this. Not this. So like, I'm
okay. Yeah,
I'm Bubba, not
Bubba.
like something
Felix.
like opposite vibes of Bubba. But like you could do it more generally than the specific term.
Yeah.
But like depending on what you're reacting
And
to.
if you're not encountering this, don't worry about it. You don't need to change your profile.
Yeah, I don't think it's a requirement by
No,
any
not at
stretch,
all. Not at all.
especially if you don't care what people.
But
call
I will say I don't think anybody is going to be offended by your asking.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
I get, for example, a lot of guys will say like, is it okay if I call you daddy? And it used to bug me. I didn't like the name because I'm like, why would I want to, like, reminding me of my father is not fun for me. So please don't conjure dad. But then I was like, that's not how they're thinking of it. And then I'm like, you know what? You want to call me daddy? Fine. I don't so much love Poppy, but.
At some point we're going to have to do an episode on like the journey to daddy.
Oh, yeah.
Because I went through the same process of like learning to.
Well, and especially since I do tend to date younger guys, I'm like, okay, that's fair. You got me. I really can't be that offended.
Well, when I've seen some of the joy that they can get out of it. In the
Absolutely.
Moment, like, okay, I can't take that away.
Yeah. I've had a similar reaction where I don't particularly like need that, but if that's their thing and that's how they're going into it, then whatever. The only place where I get tripped up by that is if they are living in the role play of it exclusively.
Yeah, well, then they're not. Again, it's not about you.
Then it's not about me. Yeah, exactly. I feel sort of.
My metaphor for it is they've taken a paint roller, dipped it in their fantasy, and rolled it across your face.
Yeah, yeah, and then it becomes a choice on my part of like, okay, am I going to walk in with my eyes open, knowing that that's all that's going to happen there, and it just depends on the person.
Well, as I've often said, objectification isn't so much offensive as boring. Like I've been objectified many times. I'm not offended. I'm bored.
Yeah, I get that.
All right. Well, that we have covered that topic pretty well.
Yeah.
Trevor, do we have a tip for this week?
We do.
Yeah. So this is a little PSA for those who aren't on social media or maybe not plugged in. Bigger Vegas 2027 has been announced.
Yay! It's been announced. Yeah. Not open for registration, but dates have been announced.
Save the
date. June 17th through 21st. 2027 in Las Vegas at the Tuscany Suites and Casino. Yay! Bigger Vegas will be taking over. Pre-sale will start in September.
Oh, you know that?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
They said that.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's good.
Yeah, well, now you know. That's a tip.
Thanks for the tip, Trevor.
Put that under your floppy sun hat.
Sounds like a euphemism, but I don't know why.
Nothing floppy about my sun hat.
I'm so wrong.
My sun hat is hot as a rock, goddammit.
Well, for the bit this week, since we were talking about how masculine we can be and the lengths we will go through to prove it, we actually may have it kind of easy because we're just putting on some attitudes. Some animals out there have to put up with a lot of shit just to be male. So there's this thing in the animal kingdom called sexual dimorphism, right? Where the male of the species and the female of the species will physically be different from each other. Right?
What?
Think the peacock versus the peahen. The peacock is this massive, massive tail of feathers that makes it have to run away from predators its entire life.
But can I just pitch in here because you brought this up? The idea of imagine if you had to carry that tail of feathers around you just to prove you were a man.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's literally what it is.
That is so oppressive.
So all of our questions today deal with sexual dimorphism in the animal kingdom and some of the things that these poor animals have to go through. All right. So mandrills are the biggest monkeys known to man, and they can be pretty hostile. So if you see a huge monkey with bright red and blue face and an even bluer red and blue ass, you might want to keep your distance. But which of the following things is not a trait associated with male mandrills?
Okay.
1, a redder face. 2, a bluer ass. 3, a bigger size.
Of what?
Just body.
Okay.
Body mass. Or 4, canine teeth nearly the size of tusks.
Jesus. I think bigger size.
Yeah, I'm going to say bigger size too.
I think redder face.
Redder face? Okay, well, in fact, the true one is they don't have canine teeth. But the male mandrills have bigger, redder faces, bigger, bluer asses, and they're sometimes up to 3 times bigger than the females.
I wanted monkey tusks.
Damn.
3 times. Dating is difficult for an anglerfish. You know, anglerfish
isn't
it scary things with little light it dangles in front of its
Oh my
eyes.
God, is that what an anglerfish is?
While most human women may occasionally complain that men seem like an entirely different species, the female anglerfish may just roll her eyes because the male and female anglerfish have a pretty fundamental difference. 1, females are carnivores and may eat their herbivorous males.
Oh, really?
2, females are herbivores and the males may eat them because they're carnivorous. 3, the females are carnivores, the males are parasites. Or 4, the females are sexually uninterested. Males must mate or die within 24 hours of maturity.
Jesus Christ.
What?
So one of these is right and
One
three
of
them
these
are wrong.
is real.
Okay.
Yes.
I kind of like the idea that the female fish needs more protein, so they're carnivorous. But that doesn't make sense, does it?
I don't know. Maybe to wait, mate though. Don't fish normally lay eggs and then
Bury them.
but what's the word? Spray them basically.
I don't know.
So I think it's 3.
Females are carnivores, males are parasites.
Yeah, because I thought part of the whole thing with anglerfish is once they mate, the men just kind of stick to the females and get absorbed almost.
Ooh. they become enmeshed in their relationship.
And they're much, much tinier.
That's convincing as anything else.
The most scientific reason to think about this is Trevor's right.
Yeah. And we all know.
And this is why we make people answer before Trevor.
Yeah.
I'm going.
That is, in fact, the correct
Damn
answer.
it.
The males are parasites that are literally a tiny, tiny, tiny percentage of the size of the female's body. They basically swim around till they find a female, they bump up into it, and they merge into her body, dissolve into it, and become gonads. And
God.
For the rest of their
That is
existence,
crazy.
they just supply genetic material to the female
That
to
is
reproduce.
fucking crazy.
Yep.
Stranger than fiction.
You know, there's a lot of kinks and adjacent kinks, but I'm surprised
It's vor. You're right.
Well, but it's not for I'm surprised I have never heard of an adjacent
a
kink, because there's vor, there's software, there's all that stuff. People, if you don't know what it is, don't Google it.
Don't go.
You don't need to know if you don't know. But I'm surprised that hasn't been a thing, because it's such a specific, odd thing that would awaken something.
It'll happen.
But you have to be exposed to it. How many people know about anglerfish?
Maybe two different.
We may be solving that right now.
It's happening here.
All right.
The rumor happens.
Most people have seen an elephant seal. Think seal, but bigger. Most people don't always appreciate just how much bigger, though. The male elephant seal, with its gigantic honker, is a pretty unique-looking creature. But today, we're not interested in its nose. How much bigger than the female can the male elephant seal reach? 1, half the size of a female. 2, double the size of a female. 3, 4 times the size of a female. Or 4, 10 times the size of a female.
And by size, you probably mean weight.
Body mass, yes. Weight.
I want to say 10 times.
Of course you do. We're going big.
Of course you do. I'm going to say twice.
Twice? Double? All right.
What was the one in between those two?
4.
I'll go with 4.
All right. And this is why we should have Trevor answer last.
No.
It is not universally true.
But they can be 10 times the size?
They can. The male elephant seal and some of the southern breeds can get up to 10 times the size of the female.
And that's because the women are size queens.
Those FFA elephant seals.
There are reasons. All right. Last one for the day. Male orangutans have a specific feature that grows in size as they mature. In fact, the most dominant males in a group with the largest will have the largest examples of this.
Ears.
What body part gets larger in males and even larger in group leading males?
Oh, shit.
1, face cheeks. 2, back hump. 3, testicles. Or 4, butt cheeks.
Oh, my.
I'm going to say front cheeks. Just the cheeks.
Face cheeks?
This explains so much of the gay community. I mean, butt cheeks and testicles. I'm going to go with face folds or jowls or whatever.
Okay, we got 2 for faces.
I'll go with the other cheeks.
All right, we got 1 for face, 1 for butt. And in fact, it is the face cheeks. Orangutan face cheeks will continue growing. And when they become the head of a tribe, apparently they just get a little bigger.
Wow.
So specific.
So, Trevor, if any of our fans are sexually dimorphous in some way, where could they tell us about it?
Well, we're on Instagram and Blue Sky as at Big Fat Gay Pod. We're on Facebook as the Big Fat Gay Podcast. Facebook, forget about it. Leave us 5 stars and a review on your preferred podcast listening platform. Support us on Patreon at patreon.com/bigfatgaypod. See the articles we talked about and the link to the cruise at www.bigfatgay.baby.
Yeah, close enough.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
Maybe you're a sexy lady elephant seal, and you got your little handkerchief. You're holding your handkerchief with your little floppy elephant seal nose, going, "You boys!" And the big boys are coming. They heard your call. They see you. So
Watch out.